We are all connected. So join me as I talk to like-minded people about topics that are appropriate to the current times we are living in. My name is Lerato Shabalala and this is Relevant. Hi everyone, welcome to Relevant with me, Lerato Shabalala. I'm so excited to be talking to my guest. She's my friend. When I say she's my friend, I mean like the necklace that I'm wearing, this necklace, this one, she got it from me. By the way, just saying. And we've known each other for 18 years. It's a very long time. We have literally grown up in front of each other. We have collected friends, enemies, frenemies. We have done superficial air pieces together at fashion weeks. I have worn her consistently for more than a decade, for about 15 years. So I'm just so thrilled to introduce a Bogota Award winner, okay, a fashion designer, a mother, a wife, a friend, okay, and a woman with amazing style, the founder and creative director of Rubicon Clothing. You all knew this was coming. Hangwani, my friend, how are you?
Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, Lerato, my darling, dearest heart. Thank you for having me here on Relevant. You know, I'm just honored to be here with you, and it's just, yeah. I knew it was coming. Somehow I knew it was coming. But yeah, I know you wouldn't force anything. It has to happen naturally, and it must unravel. But I'm really excited to share this moment, with you.
It's an absolute pleasure, my friend. You have been one of the most consistent people in my life, which is very rare in the fashion world, as we both know. And I've interviewed you several times. I've interviewed you for magazines, which is how we met each other in 2002. I've interviewed you on radio when I was on Touch Central. And obviously I have my own podcast, so I would. So every moment I
get...
amazing.
Amazing. We we just thank the universe for all this because, I mean, coming, post the lockdown that we've just had in South Africa, I feel like, it's such an honor for any business to still be standing at this time.
Right.
It's quite amazing. It's really quite amazing. And I thank the universe for all that because you are here. I'm here. I'm speaking about what I've been doing since 2002. So anyone that is still standing this time around, I bow down to you.
Yes, bless your life. Everybody, and I can't echo what Hangwani is saying, like everybody who is, the fact that God woke you up this morning, that you have a roof over your head. Yes, we all have problems, but you know what? At the end of the day, we have our loved ones. We must be grateful. So I'm with you. Bless you. So you make me think of something, my friend. I thought I've interviewed you so many times, put you on covers, worn your clothes. So, what do you say to somebody who's really one of your close friends? And I thought I wanted to ask this, which is in relation to something you've just said now. When we started in the industry and you were both starting out in the industry, there were many other contemporaries of yours who were around. They were bigger than you, they were worn by more famous people than you, and they had the personalities to be on radio, on TV, and whatever. And yet so many of them, and I won't name them, we both know the kind of people that we're talking about. And slowly but surely, over an 8-year period to a decade, people started falling off, and there were less and less people who started from that era. And I want to ask you, what do you think has kept you going? Why are you still relevant? So the reason why I started Relevant is I wanted people who had long careers. One of the people I'm talking to after you is Melanie Bala, who, as you know, has been around for over 20 years. And so what keeps you relevant? How have you remained relevant when other fashion brands who are locally made have fallen off? I mean, you have seen old designers and new designers come up, and I'm sure it's a special gift for you, but what do you think has made you, Hangwani Nengovhela, be able to last for as long as you have?
I think, my main thing that I have in me is, remaining true to who I am. And I've always, stuck by that, because and it has brought me this far in both my business life and my personal life. And I've never been one person that, I always say, I'm not like moved by trends. I am one person that I love antiques. I love, hence, our bio will say timeless classic lines. And for me, that is very important, because what the words that you put along you, with you, it's what will move you in this universe, because there is power in words. For instance, Rubicon, I've crossed the Rubicon, which means, there's no point for me of return. I'm looking ahead. There's perseverance. Although, okay, when I started off really, where I love the finer things of life. I love quality.
We share.
Yes, I love quality. And
Yes.
I love authenticity. I love being surrounded by genuineness. I'm not moved by contemporary really stuff that will see today and then the next day it's gone. And because I find that tiring for the energy itself, and because I also embrace energies. I'm really about, how I'm very interested in human beings, how they feel. So I really care a lot. I give a lot of me in everything that I do, hence in my work, my creativity as well. So, I mean, I remember back in 2002, there was a certain personality who is still standing, and I just bumped into this person in the parking lot of one of the malls. And he was like, what's happening to Rubicon? So and so are like up there, I mean, I was hurt at that point, Imagine, I'm being told that I'm not doing anything about this brand, because obviously he saw something very interesting, but he needed it to be seen by everyone. But I mean, Rubicon was a baby. Rubicon was a baby. It still needed to be nurtured. I still needed to breastfeed it. I still needed it to go through the teenage years. The teenage years were just like something else. Why it's 18 years now. I think it's young adult. But I found the brand as well, like when it started hitting its adolescent stage, it was way ahead of me, and I couldn't keep up with it. And I remember, even because I listen to what people say, when someone comes in and says, your brand is much bigger than you. And I'm like, okay, so what do you expect? Do you expect me to be like everywhere, be seen in all the social pages, be seen, in all way, where everyone is having the time of their lives, but behind the scenes, really, they're not really having the times of their life, because it's temporary.
Exactly.
Yeah, we need to work on who we are. Hence, as African people, or let me rather say Black people, because I mean, it's a young democracy in South Africa. We are catching up with our European counterparts, and we need to nurture who we are. It takes time, it takes years. Hence, they talk about generational wealth. We need to work at it. So for me, really, I wasn't really moved, because I came from a background where my grandfather, my mom's dad, had businesses, and I don't think I was brought in a family where shortcuts, taking, the shortcut of things in life. It's something that will excite anyone. So even for me to be on television or being in the magazines, I mean, with my mother or my dad, yes, they celebrated that. We need to celebrate ourselves, but we shouldn't just easily get excited that that's our destiny. That's our destiny, because destinies can be cut anytime. It can be cut anytime. So with Rubicon itself, starting from 2002, I really did not rush it. I did not. I thank God for that. That I did not rush anything. I did not. I was not. Nothing blocked me. I mean, I knew everyone. I knew every relevant person in the industry that could have actually helped, with taking it forward. But I needed to work in the roots, the infrastructure, knowing the essence, the fabric, the, what do you call it, the blueprint of the business itself,
Yeah.
and not just taking it out there like it's it's a, what do you call it, when I always say we're not a takeaway food, you know, like where
Yeah,
you just go,
exactly.
yeah, eat takeaway. Yeah, so yeah, it's a process. And
So
I think all designers must understand that when they say, what's your design process? There's a whole lot that goes into that meaning of design process.
so you talk about, I want to come back to the thing about the business itself, right? The blueprint for the business. But you said something so interesting. You said during the teenage years of Rubicon, the brand was ahead of you. What do you mean by
Yeah.
that? What do you mean? Because it sounds like you almost had to emotionally catch up with how big it did. It go, did it become bigger than what you had thought? Did it happen too quickly? Is it all of the above?
I was not ready for all the what it was giving me, what it was doing out there. I was literally not ready,
Mm.
and I'm not really like, I don't want to put it this way. I'm not really a public person, but my industry makes me a public person.
I know
I
exactly what
have to
you
be out
mean.
there. You know, I have to be out there and share. I needed the products to speak for itself rather than me being out there. But now it required the person behind this brand to come out and now start talking. What if I didn't really have the real resources to run with this brand? Because sometimes we need to really remain true to who we are. It's very difficult for designers. It's
Mm,
honestly very difficult for designers. I think where I am right now, I am ready. I am ready for what Rubicon is all about.
mm,
And I've grown. I think 18 years really qualifies that. As in the early teenage years, I was just like, what is this? I mean, events will be imposed on me on Rubicon itself, and I would just say, okay. I just felt like I didn't have a backbone, you know,
yeah.
managing what I was seeing. And I mean, at the end of the day, I felt like I can't let this opportunity pass, because
Mm,
I've had so many opportunities that have passed. You
mm,
know, they don't repeat themselves, but I find myself sometimes that I've been truly blessed that I've had opportunities that have passed that have like literally like showing themselves again now,
mm,
in
mm,
the now, as if I've like probably earned my dues.
mm.
Yeah, I
It,
don't know.
it makes total sense to me because my mother used to watch me when I would be at events and I would be running away from the camera, and she would see me. She'd say to me, "You were at this event, and I saw you run away from the camera." And it was,
That's
you know,
the
our
thing.
mothers keep it real; they don't
That's
play.
hilarious.
And what she said to me, "Why do you keep, it keeps following you and you keep running? It keeps following you and you keep running." And I needed to get to where you, that's why our friendship was authentic and real, because we both understood that we were in a public professions, but we were not public people. And
Mm,
you know, we would talk and see the same people, and we understood how we felt. And now
mm,
I'm also at that place where I'm like, okay, I'm happy to step in the light that the Lord has given me. But I wasn't ready. I mean, I completely understand where you come from. So how did you, so I have a two, my question is in two. The first one is, how did you, and I see what you're saying when you say you didn't have a backbone, where you were just showing up for things because you felt under pressure, like that's what you needed to do. But how did you
mm,
manage your ego? Because the fashion industry, like the media industry in general, is all of us are living in an ego industry. So how did you manage your ego when you were just like, look at this designer, they're here, look at this one, they're there, they're in this, and I can't, and I haven't. So how did you deal with that? And what changed? The second question is, what shifted? Obviously there's age, we both matured. We're still
yeah,
cute though.
yeah,
Okay, we're still cute.
yeah,
Don't make that mistake. But like there's
yeah.
age as well. But what changed in you? What shifted that made you go, it's okay to step in the light that was always yours. The light was just waiting for you to step in it. So
Mm.
what shifted, and how did you handle your ego during those years?
Oh, um, okay. Can I say the lockdown really helped so much?
Yes, you can. It helped a lot of us.
It really, although, I mean, we've lost some loved ones in the process, but I found that I healed somehow. I feel like I'm recharged. I was able to go back to who I am, in terms of because when you sell the true self, like for instance, my latest collection, I've like I had most people didn't know why I'm in the fashion industry, but those that at least maybe grew up with me, they're not surprised that I end up in the fashion industry. My mother has been like a phenomenal figure in my life, but she was very strict
Mm.
bringing me up, like extremely strict. Although she took me to, obviously in my standard six, then I'll call it standard six, she took me
We're
to a
both
world,
the
yeah,
standard six generation.
yeah, she put me into a world of education in Pretoria. I was in boarding, so at least I was able to stay away from that strictness. My mom was very strict. As a divorcee, although my parents have always been like phenomenal figures in my life, being divorced, but and I've always like shied away from using what brought me up, looking more into my grandmother because my grandmother was more calmer. So, I mean, if you check all my interviews, I'll speak about my grandmother. My grandmother died like she died like rather say passed on 2 years ago. So I've always been like looking up to her because she's calmer. Even the way I decorate my house, even very classic woman, very, very elegant. My grandmother was very elegant and very calm, but she carried her message across
Mm.
all the time. I mean, being a headmaster for so many years, she became a headmaster at the age of 21, and so I never looked into my mom because thinking, okay, she's always been very, very strict in my life. So that somehow caused a bit of a rift for so many years
Yeah.
until I grew spiritually. I got to know why I'm here on earth. What is my calling here on earth? All these other things don't really matter. Whoever does anything to you, what is behind them? We're all spirit beings. So I healed and I had like an awakening, a serious awakening where I feel like it needs to be penned down in a book about healing.
Mm.
And hence the vibrancy in this collection is so vibrant, it's so classic, it's so nostalgic. It's so easy for me to even sell it, to even talk about it, to even articulate the collection. So I brought her in into the just to honor my mom because I am in fashion because of her.
Mm. When
She
you
was
say
used. She was
you healed
sorry.
your mom, sorry, my friend, I wanted to ask this before I forget. And healing is different for different people. Sometimes it means you go to the person, you say how you felt, and then there's like an apology, what, or there's an understanding. Or you go inward to understand why the strictness and all these other things were, where it's an inward journey. Was it a two-way thing? Did you guys discuss it? Or was it mainly just you during lockdown saying, why do you need to heal?
So with that, for me, it was really an awakening because I've been working on it for so many years. And, we do sometimes speak about it and I felt like I've lived throughout my whole life being fearful because of her being strict on my life, in my
Yeah.
life. So it's somehow, that's why I even had a different approach in bringing my own children up.
Mm.
And it wasn't just like something that I just woke up to. I just said, I felt like now I am ready
Mm.
to, because if I had started using my mother as an inspiration from maybe 2002, I don't think I would have lasted because she would have been celebrated so much,
Mm.
with the collection. It would have been one of those that resonates with everyone
Mm.
because they will be able to identify with themselves because, fashion is about feeling. It's
Mm.
about who we are, how would want to feel, the movement, the feelings in that. So her kind of the inspiration that I get from my mom is that it always brings joy to people. It always brings, you just want to, you want to dress up. You just want to, and it's either you wear it up or down, So with this collection, I'm able to, if I had done it, I don't think I'll still be here if I had started off that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what you mean, because I would have created like trends, trends, they what do you call it? Trends are a cycle, isn't it? They come back.
They come and go.
Now and they come back.
Yes. Yes.
They come and go. Yeah. So I feel like I would have created something that people just celebrate. I think this with us South Africans, we love just, if a person I joined a cafe or something opens up, we'll adore it for 6 months. And then after that, we move to the next.
We're over it. Yeah.
We're over it. So somehow I didn't need that. But I feel like even with this collection, I need to really be on my toes all the time so that it always resonates. It always makes people feel special. It always makes people feel transformed, because I wouldn't want anyone to just say, it's dated. I don't know. I can't wear that.
Yeah. I still wear stuff that you made from years ago. No, I guess what I was asking my friend was, when you were going through your healing journey during this lockdown, was it mainly just you having conversations with your mother, or was it you having conversations with yourself and God to say, I need to let go, I need to heal? So that's what I wanted to know from you, because I know a lot of people, when we speak about healing, people think that sometimes you bring your parents in, but it's not always the case. Our parents are a different generation, and they're like, okay, so you're going to therapy, you're trying to heal, leave me out of it. So I guess that's what I was trying to get at between you and your mom. Was it you just being like, okay, let me be mature, let me move on, I love my mom, we're perfect? Or did you guys have a discussion?
We've had so many discussions before. Yeah, we've had so many discussions before, but it never led to any where I am at now. Yeah. So this really happened from me being, obviously communicating with my source, our source, our God.
Yes.
And and praying and coming to a place where I've grown now, and we can all, age doesn't mean that you're matured. You know what I mean? So the spiritual side of ourselves is what will determine that growth.
Amen.
So yeah, because God doesn't operate in time, he operates out of time.
Yeah.
And yeah. So it really honestly it's more about that I needed, it was more a conversation with myself, because God is within here.
Yes.
He's in me.
Yes.
He's in me. He's not in another, and I can't find him in Rato. Yes, you've got, there is God in here. The same God that you've got, I've got him in here. So it's that conversation that I've been having with myself, and meditating, reading, and coming to my sense of being, coming to that place of, yes, it has happened, but probably to teach me something. I was once told that a certain person is in my life to teach me lessons of life. Yes. So so our mothers are special. They're special no matter who or what they are really special, because they've birthed us. They've birthed us
and given us lessons. I mean, it's just, mothers are amazing. I mean, when you're talking about meditation, so I do it every single day. I hold on to it. I don't know how I survived without meditation. I'm grateful to lockdown, because now I'm like, good Lord, I get to have a conversation, an intentional conversation with God every single day, where I go within and there's a discussion that we have. I've never felt better. I don't even want to lie to you. Like, I'm just like, what was I doing before? So you called this collection Myth of Origin. And okay, so I'm wearing the Myth of Origin t-shirt, everybody. I don't know if you can see. And
Hello. Hello.
and I want to know why.
I love that.
I love
Love that.
right back.
Everyone that I come across, everyone that I come across, I said, you need to have that t-shirt.
Yes.
You can't be associated to me and you don't have that t-shirt.
No.
You can't. Okay, that t-shirt is very special. It's depicting two phenomenal figures on that t-shirt. I mean, the Myth of Origin is my grandfather's report on Mapungube, and it, I mean, obviously, it was declared a World Heritage Site after his late now, may his soul rest in peace. And yeah, my darling, dearest, everything. He never, a week never passed by without him contacting me. And sometimes he would ask me, do you have work? Because, do you have, do you have work? Because, as families, some people don't want to understand that, what we're doing, fashion, is actually, there's the business side of things. So they think it's just entertainment when you're dressing people and when you're, what you're selling. So he would ask me, can I involve you into tourism? Can I get you involved in tourism? Because he didn't really think I've got, looking at Rubicon, to him, he didn't see it as as work. So now I'm happy that I'm able to carry his legacy forward and translate what he wrote about into fashion. Translate it through fashion, and people can speak about it as well, so that I can remember him in a very special way. And yeah, and then the picture there. Are you able to stand up?
Okay. I'm only doing because
you're
asking me, ne?
Yes, please.
There we go. There we go. Here are the two figures that you were talking about.
There's mommy. That's my mom. And yes, that's my mother, and that's me there on her back. That's a true picture of ourselves.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's mommy. So it's my grandfather and my mother. And I'm paying homage to them, loving them so much with all my heart. And yeah, I feel that this t-shirt it gives me goosebumps all the time. It goes beyond really clothing. There's a whole lot of meaning. And as mothers, and I'll need anyone out there, to really celebrate our mothers. If you've got a good relationship with your mom, celebrate them when you can still celebrate them. Yeah. We need to carry our mothers. We need to carry it forward. It can't just be me and my mom on that t-shirt. If you've got a special pic of yourself with your mom, put it somewhere on a t-shirt or something. I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing.
It truly is amazing. But then what are you like as a mom? I mean, I know Chima and Zwibo call me.
Okay. They've made you so old, ne? And at least you allow them to call you that. I know. It's just really the respect to Chima and Zwibo are just like really. I think I've been a good mother so far. I've been truly, but we can never know because these people came through us, but they've got their own journey.
Yes, that's
they've got their own destiny. They came through us. I must do whatever I can to mold them. And I think I've done a good job so far. And I must allow them to be who they are called to be. And I can't hold them back from being who they are.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I see how much you've allowed them to Zwibu's matric dance. We were all there. He designed his own suit and just looked so dashing. Like I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my goodness, this kid grew up in front of me. Like I'm watching him, he's like, auntie, okay, are you gonna take a picture? I'm like, oh my God. He's got like, a and Chima's like the most independent, most beautiful, most fierce. She's gonna be fierce, my friend. We think she's fierce now. Chima is going to do some incredible things because of her mind. And I think a lot of it has to do with you and your husband, coming together to create them. And as you say, they don't belong to any of us. They belong to themselves. We all belong to ourselves. So
Yeah.
when you talk about legacy and generations, you come from a family with a lot of legacy and generations. What are you hoping to leave behind for them? What do you hope the name Rubicon means, and what you wanted to invoke in your children and in your family and those of us who are your friends when you hear that and you think, this is the kind of legacy I want to leave behind?
You know, I'm actually very quite blessed that Chima also loves fashion, although she's studying law.
Mm,
She loves fashion. Also, Zubi is very creative. So
mm,
slowly but surely with Chima, I've been literally giving her small tasks with Rubicon. You know, she's been really, really phenomenal because I tell my family that I need continuation with Rubicon.
yes,
If I happen not to be here tomorrow, there needs to be, I shouldn't find, I mean, I should, if I'm gone, my website must continue.
yes,
My infrastructure must continue. And it shouldn't be something, and I believe in carrying things forward within the family. And I think really as Africans, we need to learn that. I think
definitely.
it will really do a lot of good in changing our economies as Africans,
Yep.
and not just looking at things that that is for the now, and
Mhm.
but we must think of generations to come. So I really like to see Rubicon being carried from generations to generations. I hear businesses that are like, you know, where they're my suppliers of Rubicon. They've been operating for over 100 years. And I find that very special and understanding. And it's really, you find that there's family members in there running with that. So Rubicon, I think I will leave it in good hands. I've really balanced that with the kind of staff that work with me, my colleagues, and they're really invested in the running of things. And slowly but shortly, I've been bringing in systems in place where I've got people that have got the expertise at the whole spectrum of Rubicon itself. I really would like it to grow to become an empire one day. That's my dream. If that doesn't happen, yeah,
No, there's no
yeah,
if. It will happen. There's no,
yeah,
it's going to be like Yin So Laurent, you know what I mean? It's going to be like Louis Vuitton.
yeah,
It's going to last because it has, and because the intention is there, my
yeah,
friend. But we
yeah.
now go back to something you said right at the beginning of the interview, which is
Mhm.
the business of fashion. So when most people think of being a fashion designer, they think of dressing up famous people, being on the red carpet with them, being interviewed, being famous, basically. That's what people think fashion designing is about. And I
Yeah,
hate to break it to you kids,
yeah.
but it is not. To do a collection
No, it's
requires
not. Yeah,
time, it requires vision, energy, but also business acumen. So I really want us to double click on the business acumen. I want to ask you about the fundamental lessons you learned about business, because there's the people
yeah,
aspect, right? Which is the people around you. And we've been friends long enough for me to have seen different people in and out of your business. Some people have been
yes,
great for it,
yeah,
and some people where I was like, oh, my friend, like this person. And so it's not only just the money,
yeah,
right? It's also like
yeah,
the
yeah.
people. So, what have you learned and what are you doing differently? And what advice do you have for someone who's a fashion designer who's watching you and think, I want to be in, I feel like I relate to her, I want to be in this industry? What advice do you have for people? Because I don't think there's enough advice.
There isn't enough advice on that because I always say that for young designers or any up and coming designer, they mustn't look at so and so is famous. You mustn't look at the fame part of things. Yes, fame will come with your work. It's not about if you're fame hungry, yes, then maybe you're in the wrong industry. Maybe you must start going into acting, drama, go into that. But fashion is not about just the glitz and the glam and who's wearing your dress, or it's about the business side of things as well. Because the monies that goes into the likes of your international labels, I don't even want to mention them, the luxurious brands, is you don't even want to know how much it's invested in those brands. Looking at the South African market, it's as compared to them, it's a very small pie, and you need to, everything must translate into sales. I always say everything that you do, that you get into, it must translate into sales. If you want your business to continue, if you want your business to be a charity, then maybe form an NGO and start looking into something like that. Yeah. Form an NGO or something. But if everything that you do, whether it's a social media post, it must be able to translate into sales. Yes. It doesn't mean that you've got a few likes in your social media. It doesn't mean that having 1,000 likes in your on your social media platforms is going to translate into sales. You need to know what the target market is there. Are they just excited that so and so is wearing your dress? But associate yourself with people who've got the same values, in business. Associate yourself with like-minded people that you got values for. But the hype of being famous and hey, you'll die poor, hey? You'll die poor. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm laughing because it's true, because we both know that people say, oh, you've got X amount of followers, but you've got X little in the bank, so
yeah,
it has to. It really has to. It's
translate into something.
Definitely, it has to translate into something. Have you made any mistakes with people that you brought into your business and you were like, oh gosh, this is not working out? And how have you handled it? Because you and me like people, and we don't like being disliked, even though a lot of people dislike us, which is funny.
Yeah.
How? Oh well.
Yeah. Anyway, they don't dislike. They don't dislike us. They dislike themselves.
Yes, actually, that's
they don't. Yeah, they don't like themselves.
Yeah, because when you love yourself, you love everybody else, to be honest. It's just how it is. And you need to love yourself first before you can give love to others. But how have you handled situations? Because in our industry, people talk, people say, I don't work with Hangwani because of this, Lerato did that to me. And, people prefer these people. How have you dealt with someone that you thought was close from a business perspective? I mean, friendships we all have had, but somebody that you thought they were really going to be helpful to you, and then it didn't turn out that way. How have you handled those types of situations in business?
Because if it's a business transaction, you know that it's not a personal transaction, right? And so with business, I keep quiet. I remain quiet.
Okay.
I keep quiet and observe.
Okay.
Because it's beyond me. You don't know why that happened. Because sometimes being confrontational, yes, you can speak around the table, around the boardroom table, and agree to a certain extent, but you can never change a human being. A human being can only change themselves. So you keep quiet and you remain graceful. You remain graceful. Be diplomatic. Great.
Yes.
Smile and let it go.
Yes.
And let it go and just keep quiet. Don't even entertain it. Because the more you talk about it, you're giving it power. You're giving it power to continue.
And that's true. Like, I think we've both we both have known certain people in the industry.
I know.
Things, and we just we talk about it over champagne. You all know us as friends. We love our champagne, me and him.
Yeah.
But we both just decided that grace and elegance and just there's no need to play in the dust. You can just go, it's okay, it's how you feel, it's fine. Because when you are fighting, it means now we're on some level you believe that, which actually is not even worth it. So I want to ask you
Yeah.
a tricky question. I'm sorry for asking you a tricky question on camera, but I have to be.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at me.
So you said you need to associate yourself with people who have the same values, which is
Mhm.
important. Whether those are your friends or your business associates, it's important because your values will, you know, make sure you're bonding. So have you ever?
Yes.
You don't have to say names, but have you ever decided not to dress anyone, um, and why? Where they, celebrity or a normal person, where they were like, "Oh, I want to wear Rubicon," and you were like, "Not you." Have you had that where you're like, Actually, not you, no thanks," and why?
So many times. I've had actually a couple of that in the 18 years, honestly, because I found myself that they were not ready for Rubicon and we're not ready for them.
Yeah.
And um, and we're just not having the same outlook of things because our vision is different from their vision. So I've got a way of saying no politely, and and it's painful because a no is a no.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had that a couple of times where really, I mean, they are not having the audience that we're looking at. Not that I'm discriminating that Rubicon can't just dress anyone, but you need to be ready to wear Rubicon. Honestly, you need to be
No. Yes.
everything like everything must be in sync. Everything must be in sync. So yeah, I've had so many of those, and I've had those that I've said no back in the back. I mean, like a couple of years ago, that I find that now, yeah, you are ready. When I look at you, you are ready.
Yes.
We can, because you're almost trying to get to look at how we see things
Mm.
as Rubicon. Yeah. So yeah, I've had some that I have said no before, that I'm like, oh, okay, there's growth there. There's something. The mind is ready.
Mm.
The mind is ready, because really, it's really not about the number of people that you need to dress. It must translate as well into quality. Yes, sales, but also quality
Yeah.
at the same time. Yeah.
No, that's crucial. I mean,
Yes.
the answer is yes. So you have dressed from Basi to Zizo to Pearl Tuesday. I mean, there's so many of us who have worn your clothing and continue to wear it. There is a project that you and I have talked about for years. I'm not going to mention what it's called, um, but I want to know for you, what is next? What do you want to do next? Because this project, we've been talking about it forever. Okay. And I know with you and I, it's all about timing. Even with this podcast, I wasn't like, "Oh, you're my friend, let me call you first." I needed to get in the right space, as it is even when you wear Rubicon clothing. So where do you think, and as my last question, where do you want to go next? I know you're always reinventing yourself, you're always changing. Your aesthetic has similarity, but you're always changing and expanding. And I want to know, after going through COVID-19, and after now settling, getting into the 40s and being fun. I mean, people don't know how fun and silly you are. People actually have no idea.
Oh, they don't know. That side. Oh, that side is very private.
I love that side, by the way. So, so what's coming for you? I feel like you are the highest expression of yourself. You are,
Mm.
I mean, you wore that beautiful jumpsuit for the Myth of Origin showcase this year, and I was lucky enough to MC it. And thank you, my friend. There's so many of us who had a reunion
Oh,
there.
you've
We took
just been,
photos. It was
yeah.
amazing. So where are you going? What are you doing
It
with your
was
life?
amazing.
With
It was
family?
amazing. I would like to, okay, one of the things that I found myself to be during lockdown, I thought, you know what, Hangwani, you haven't been giving back the way you are meant to be giving back. I'm a very giving person, by the way. Like I've got my heart is like it's something else.
I
Let me
believe
just pet,
this.
like, yeah, like,
You need to pat yourself on the back
and
if you
I,
really are, my
yeah,
friend. You're
so
very
it,
giving.
yeah, I, I I got into a business transaction with Rubicon, which was an added, they call it in marketing, they call it an added product line, which went left. So it took away from who I am. It confused me. It got me into depression. It got me into all sorts of things. But I realized, no, you can't just go through things where it's sort of an attack. It means there's something very special with you. You're valuable.
Yeah.
And so it stopped me from doing what I'm called to do. Behind the Rubicon thing, and I want to venture into orphanages. I would like to go more into giving back in
Mm,
that manner, and but quietly. So honestly, I wouldn't want anyone to know, because I've always been doing that without people knowing that I'm doing it. And I felt like I was lacking in that, because I had a distraction in my life,
mm,
which thank God, with the lockdown, I was able to come back to my senses and say, yeah, you're ready, go and do this. And once I get myself into something, there's magic comes into life. And I would love to change people's lives. I would love to do the little that I have to do here on earth, changing people's lives and transforming. And I think um, with most people that I come in contact with, they know that I've got that. Those that have never met me, of course, they'll look at me as an aloof, maybe person that is maybe self-centered, or whatever, but I'm quite deep. I love Lerato. I love. So I would love to love by doing, translating into changing people's lives. And and it's not about, like, obviously there's so much hunger out there now. People are sleeping hungry out there. But we need to look into the long-term things of things. Who's got the skills in that family? How are we going to change that family for the future, so that they're not just dependent on people giving them food. They're dependent on using their skills, the gifts that they've been given. So I really would love to get into that space. Yeah. I really would love to connect with organizations that are in that space more and more, and not just look into Rubicon. No.
I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
I would love to give. I'm actually becoming very emotional now. Yeah.
No, I get what you mean, but I want to say before I let you go that when you talk about Rubicon being a distraction and you giving, I want to assure you that one of the biggest gifts you can give someone is for them to see themselves in a way that they never saw themselves. And with you, for the first time in my life, before I met you, I was like, oh, people called me fat. I just could never
Mm,
find somebody who was able to look at my figure and dress me properly. I'd go into shops and the jeans would be big on the waist and tight on like I just never I never
yeah,
found somebody who made me feel beautiful, who made my body feel beautiful. And then I met you, and literally my life changed. My life changed. I saw myself as this glamorous, beautiful person, and
yeah.
I would have never
You're
had
a
that.
queen. You're,
And that's because that's what you see. You know what I mean? That's what you
yeah.
see, and that is a gift also, because by you doing that, I was able to see myself the way God sees me, which is perfectly made. And I have never thanked you publicly, and I want to thank you publicly for restoring what I had taken away from myself, which is my confidence. And I keep my clothes from years and years and years and years, and I still wear them now because you love making other people feel good. You love making special occasions. You love celebrating life, and you love giving of yourself. And so you are just going to give in a different form. You have been given. I am really thankful for what you did for me and what you do for so many women, which is to make us feel like the queens we are, to see ourselves as beautifully made, intentionally made, graceful. And that's because that's what you are. You give us the gifts that you have. And for sharing your talent, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for your continued friendship, for your kindness and your giving, for sharing your family, your creativity with us. Even when you were tired and didn't want to, you still got up, and you will continue to. I pray that, our source, which you and I both call God, really covers you and protects you and your family. And just 100 years from now, that I will be able to give my kids the pleasure of saying, this is vintage Rubicon, not new Rubicon. So thank you, my friend.
Wow. My friend, I would love to also just express my gratitude, for you being in my life, whether being it in my highs and lows. It's so easy for me to be able to communicate with you, to share what I'm going through, whether I'm feeling so down, because sometimes I feel like, when you're going through so much out there, like I don't want to use the word depression. People tend to cut themselves from people. They don't have anyone to talk to. But I find it so seamless to be able to speak to you, and you're there as well. So like how you're saying that I've been there in that way, that manner, and because I've never judged, and I didn't realize that I was healing you in the process. I was part of your healing in the process. And I find that really special. It's truly, truly special. I feel like crying now. Yeah, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for being in my life. Me, the quiet person, I'm not really quiet. I wish people knew that I can really have, I can really make you laugh. Yeah, I love to make people laugh. So yeah, so I find this, just having this time and being able to share this with you, it's just special. And you've just made me realize that how special you are in my life. And I'll honor that for years to come. And you'll be seen by my great-grandchildren. Imagine, hey, how awesome is that? When we're all gone.
Exactly. Exactly. And what I want to do with this episode, I want to show the years and everything I've worn, because people who follow me will know, but I want to show you how 18 years of wearing a designer looks like. My friend, thank you so much. They are Rubicon Clothing on Instagram and Twitter. Like, follow them, everybody. I'm not going to give you Hangwani, she's private, okay? That's for me, please. Just do more success, my friend. And champagne the next time.
Champagne, darling. Champagne. What Nang calls it, what? Champopo.
Champopo, our favorite thing. I will definitely make sure you have one, my friend, before the year ends. I love you. I thank you for honoring me with your time, with your grace and your talent. And if I've never said it before, I'm going to say it again. I love you deeply, immensely, and immeasurably.
Oh, I love you too.
Bye.
Bye. Dance. This was fun. I loved every moment.